Let's get started. 1. You feel guilty when you relax. Ever sit down to chill and immediately feel wrong? Like there's something else you should be doing. That's not productivity. It's hypervigilance. Your brain got wired to believe that rest is unsafe, that if you stop moving, something bad will happen. It's a trauma response, specifically tied to complex PTSD and environments where survival meant overachieving or overfunctioning. Rest feels lazy because your brain was trained in chaos, and now it mistakes peace for danger. Number 2, you say, I'm fine, when you're clearly not. That auto smile plus I'm fine is often emotional armor, a habit you built where honesty never felt safe. When big feelings led to conflict, rejection, or being ignored, your nervous system learned, hide it. Keep the peace. That's the fawn response appeasing to stay safe, common after relational or developmental trauma. Over time, you stop expressing needs, agree when you don't, and walk on eggshells to avoid blowups. Do it long enough and you can lose track of what you actually feel. That's where alexithymia, trouble identifying and naming emotions, shows up more often in people with trauma histories, including PTSD. Pair that with cultural pressure toward good vibes only. Toxic positivity equals emotional suppression, and I'm fine becomes your default script even when you're internally flooding. Number 3, you feel numb. During happy moments, you get something you wanted, a promotion, party, a compliment. And instead of joy, nothing, just static. That's not ungratefulness. That's emotional dissociation. Your brain's emergency shutdown mode. When you grow up in unpredictable or high-stress environments, joy can feel unsafe. Why? Because every time you felt good, something bad followed. So now, your brain doesn't trust happiness. It kills the high before it gets crushed. Clinical psychologists call this anticipatory emotional blunting, and it's common in people with PTSD, depression, and trauma-related disorders. It's not that you can't feel, it's that your nervous system is still scanning for danger, even in joy, so your wins feel like cardboard. Number 4, you get uncomfortable. When people are nice to you, someone compliments you, and you flinch. Someone offers help, and you instantly want to say, nah, I'm good. That's not humility. That's defensive detachment. Your brain assumes kindness equals manipulation, because somewhere along the line, it was. Trauma especially, from neglect, gaslighting, or love with conditions, teaches you that help has a cost. That every I care about you comes with a leash. Psychologists call this rejection, sensitivity, and insecure attachment. Basically, you expect the other shoe to drop, so you avoid the shoe entirely. Real support feels fake. Genuine affection feels suspicious. So you keep people at arm's length, even the good ones. Number 5, you feel responsible for everyone's emotions. Someone's upset, you immediately think it's your fault. Your friend seems off, you start over-apologizing. You walk into a room and your nervous system scans for tension like a damn security system. That's not empathy. That's trauma-induced hyper-responsibility. It often develops in people who had to emotionally parent their parents, also known as parentification. You were trained to be the fixer, the peacekeeper, the emotional translator, and now you mistake emotional enmeshment for connection. But here's the truth. Other people's feelings aren't your homework. You can care without carrying. Number 6, you apologize for everything. You bump into a chair? Sorry. Your friend's in a bad mood? Sorry. Someone else messes up? You say sorry. That's not politeness. It's learned guilt. This kind of chronic over-apologizing is linked to people-pleasing and the fawn trauma response, where you default to submission to avoid conflict. It's especially common in survivors of emotionally unpredictable households, abusive relationships, or even strict environments where being wrong had consequences. Saying sorry becomes your shield. But here's the kicker. The more you use it, the more you reinforce that your existence is inconvenient. You're not sorry, you're scared. And naming that changes everything. Number 7, you expect people to leave, even when they haven't. Things are going well in a friendship or relationship, and your brain whispers, it won't last. You start pulling back, testing them, creating distance before they can hurt you. This isn't self-sabotage for fun. This is abandonment trauma, often rooted in inconsistent caregiving, divorce, loss, or emotional neglect. Your nervous system learned, people leave. Or worse, they change. So now, even stable love feels like a trap. You're constantly bracing for disappointment. Even kindness feels like a countdown. Psychologists call this anticipatory grief or preemptive defense. You mourn things before they're gone, just to feel in control. But here's the truth. Not everyone will leave. But if you expect it, you might push away the ones who won't. Number 8. You can't stand silence. No music, no podcast, just quiet. And suddenly your brain sounds like a panic room full of alarms. That's not just needing background noise. That's avoidance of emotional intrusion. A trauma-linked response where silence equals danger because it leaves room for thoughts you've been avoiding. Studies in trauma psychology show that people with unresolved emotional stress often develop stimulus dependency. They rely on noise, chaos, or distraction to keep their inner world from boiling over. Silence isn't peace, it's exposure. It forces you to feel what you've been stuffing down. So you scroll, you binge, you fill the air because it's safer than facing what's underneath. Number 9. You can't remember big chunks of your childhood. People talk about childhood memories, and you're just like, I got nothing. That's not a bad memory. That's trauma-related memory suppression. When your brain goes through long-term stress or emotional overload, especially in your formative years, it doesn't file memories like normal. Instead, it prioritizes survival over storytelling. The result? Whole years become a blur. Holidays, birthdays, even milestones just gone. This is common with developmental trauma, especially emotional neglect, inconsistent parenting, or environments where your feelings weren't seen as valid. The brain's like, let's not remember what we couldn't handle. It's not broken. It's protecting you. Number 10. You can't ask for help without feeling like a burden. You're drowning, but instead of reaching out, you go, I don't want to bother anyone. That's not independence. That's internalized unworthiness, a trauma imprint where you learned that your needs are too much, too annoying, or flat out unwanted. This often comes from environments where you were made to feel selfish for needing help. You had to handle things alone to avoid shame, or caretakers made support conditional. So now, you'd rather burn out than be seen as needy. Psychologists call this learned helplessness plus toxic self-reliance. It's not that you don't need support. It's that you were trained to believe you don't deserve it. But asking for help isn't weakness. It's unlearning survival mode. Number 11. You constantly replay past mistakes in your head. You're in the shower, walking down the street, or trying to sleep, and suddenly your brain hits rewind on every embarrassing thing you ever said or did. This is rumination, and it's way more than just overthinking. It's a trauma survival hack gone haywire. When you grew up in unpredictable or critical environments, your brain learned to scan for danger everywhere, including your own behavior. So it replays mistakes to prepare you, to keep you safe from future harm. The problem? This constant mental loop keeps you stuck in the past, draining your energy and making it impossible to fully be in the present. Breaking free means recognizing that your worth isn't tied to your mistakes. That's all for now. Stay tuned. I'll be back soon with another video.